Bismillah. Today, inshallah, when we talk about this hadith here, I'm going to read the hadith and then after reading the hadith, inshallah, we try to say what's the madahib say about this hadith, the different understanding of this hadith. And I'm going to talk about the isnad, but not really deep, because we have not taken any usul hadith. So, narrated Abu Huraira narrated that Allah Messenger said regarding the sea, its water is tahur, meaning purifying, and its dead animals are lawful to eat, halal. This hadith is narrated by Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, Ibn Majah, Ibn Abi Shaybah, and it is considered to be sahih by Ibn Khuzaymah and Tirmidhi and Malik and Shafi'i and Ahmed. Many other people consider this hadith to be da'if because it's the narration of Sa'id ibn Salama. Sa'id ibn Salama is not really known, and from Al-Mughira ibn Abi Burda, and he is not better than him. Such hadith shouldn't be really considered to be sahih, and many people consider it to be sahih, many consider it not to be sahih. But the meaning of this hadith is from the Quran. The meaning of this hadith, sometimes hadith is weak. We can't say the Prophet has said it, but still we can't we don't say, oh, what has been said is wrong. It's not the Prophet who said it. We can't say the Prophet has said it, yes, but the meaning of it, maybe you find it in another hadith or in Quran, like huwa at-tahuru ma'uhu, its water is tahur, purifying. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً طَهُورًا, and we have sent down from the sky water tahur, which is purifying. So this first part is in Quran. There is something similar in Quran. Al-hillu maytatuh, its dead animals are lawful. This part as well, it's in Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَحِلَّ لَكُمْ صَيْدُ الْبَحْرِ وَطَعَامُهُ مَتَاعًا لَكُمْ وَلِلسَّيَّارَةِ. The hunt of the sea is made lawful to you. This hadith, what we are going to read today, inshallah, it's we will take some ahkam, some rules about water, about the water that can be used in wudu, but just explain little about this hadith and then we come back. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Allah Messenger said, water is tahur, purifying. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri narrated that the Prophet has said the water is tahur, the water is purifying, and nothing can make it impure, and nothing can make it impure. This hadith, of course, is narrated by Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, and Nasa'i, and Ahmed bin Hanbal. It is considered to be sahih. It is considered to be sahih by Ahmed, by Bukhari, but considered to be da'if by others. This reason why the hadith is considered to be da'if is what we call muttarib. The narrators had
confused,
like confused. Sometimes someone will name the narrator like Abdullah ibn Abdul Rahman ibn Abi Rafi'. Someone will say Abdullah ibn Abdullah ibn Abi Rafi', Abdullah ibn Ubaydillah. Like it looks like they didn't memorize the hadith properly. The person who narrated it didn't memorize the hadith properly, and these people, we don't know who amongst these people it's Abdullah ibn Abdullah or Abdullah ibn Abdul Rahman or so this hadith is considered to be muttarib by many. as well. But still, the meaning of this hadith is sahih. The meaning of this hadith, that water is purifying, and nothing can make it impure. Yes?
What made it sahih?
No, I don't say this hadith is sahih.
Okay.
I say the meaning of this hadith.
Okay.
The meaning of this hadith, water is purifying for the ayah. And anything that is pure, or that Allah said it's pure, which is purifying, you shouldn't say that now it became not purifying. If someone say no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said it's purifying, but as long as something doesn't happen, like as long as that it didn't, nothing impure had been poured in it. So if you say this, we say, okay, you agree with us that this water was pure before, purifying before, and now you came with a claim that this water, because there is impurity falling in, it became impure. We say, where did you get it from? You understand? So always, if you claim something, you have to bring the proof. We go always with the origin. You see, if someone is married, someone married a woman. He married this woman with the agreement of the wali. He paid dowry. There was 2 witnesses. So every Muslim will agree that this is marriage. And then he traveled and he is absent for 8 months. And you say the marriage is invalid now. It become null. We say, we agreed with us that they were married. So they will still be married until something from Quran and Sunnah, until Allah say that this marriage has become invalid. That is by divorce, it's in Quran and Sunnah. That is by the death of the husband or of the wife. That is by one of them changing the religion, his religion. But you say, this is in Quran and Sunnah, what I mentioned now. But someone says he is absent for 8 months or 4 years or 20 years, he didn't come, and the marriage became invalid. We say, you have to prove it. You can prove that from Quran and Sunnah, that if you divorce a woman, she is not your wife. You can prove from Quran and Sunnah, if one of the husband or the wife dies, she is not, the marriage is invalid. Or if one of them changed the religion. And now you came with something new, extra, you have to prove it. You understand this rule here? Okay. And then the third hadith, narrated from Abi Umam al-Bahili. Allah Messenger said, water cannot be rendered impure by anything except something which changes its smell, taste or color. Water cannot be rendered impure by anything except something which changes its smell, taste and color. This hadith is narrated by Ibn Majah, and many consider this hadith to be da'if. In this case here, this hadith is considered to be da'if by the majority. The hadith still, the meaning of the hadith still sahih, acceptable. Even though the hadith is weak, we can't say the Prophet has said it, but its meaning is right. Why? The water is pure. This is in Quran. Cannot be rendered impure by anything. Whatever Allah said it's pure, we can't say that it became impure, except with something that changes its smell and taste or color. One something which is, here depends, something that changes the smell, the taste, or the color. If this thing that changes the smell, or one of these three attributes, is not clean, is not pure, such as urine, then this water, if it's smelling, you put urine inside, and then it smells like urine, then it's not water anymore. If the color changes, then it's not water anymore. If the taste changes, then it's not water anymore. If it changes by something which is pure, like by sugar, you put sugar in water, and then it becomes juice, but it's not water anymore. It is pure itself, you can drink it, but it's not water, so you can't use it to do wudu with it. We'll come back to this inshallah. And then narrated Abdullah ibn Umar, Allah Messenger said, if there is enough water to fill two pots, it carries no impurity. In another narration, it does not become impure. If the water is enough, if there is enough water to fill two pots. This hadith is narrated by the Sunan, and this hadith is narrated by the Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah, Abu Dawud, Nasa'i, and Ibn Khuzaymah, Ibn Hibban and Hakim consider it to be sahih. There is here special rule that Ibn Khuzaymah, Ibn Hibban and Al-Hakim follow when it comes to hadith, and that's why we see that almost whenever Ibn Khuzaymah make hadith sahih, Ibn Hibban and Al-Hakim follow. Ibn Hibban is the student of Ibn Khuzaymah, and Al-Hakim is the student of Ibn Hibban. And they had, when it comes to hadith, they had this rule. The majority, when they don't know someone, is considered majhul, someone unknown, his hadith is not acceptable. If they don't know someone, if they say someone has had only one narrator, for example, so they say this person is unknown, and if no one has spoken about him and say that he is strong in hadith, that his hadith is acceptable, one of these famous people who know about man, or like Ahmad ibn Hanbal, ibn Ma'in, ibn Madini, Abu Hatim, Abu Zur'a, Bukhari. So if no one of these people have mentioned these people, someone like this, we consider him to be majhul. However, Ibn Khuzaymah came with this rule that him and his students follow. He say this is should be applied to anyone except the three first generations, that is the Sahaba, Tabi'in and Atba' Tabi'in. His argument is this, that the Prophet said that the best generation is mine, then the generation that follows, and the generation that follow after. He says, so these people, and then the Prophet said, and there will be after them people who will lie and not say the truth. So they said, in the three first generations, the people are truthful, generally saying they are truthful. After the three generations, generally people are liars. So we have to prove them not to be liars before we take anything from them. In the third generations, we don't have to prove that someone is truthful before taking anything from him. Only if we prove that he is not truthful, that will not take from him. You understand? So, yeah, and that is right in a way. However, it's wrong because to take this rule, because when we take hadith from someone, we don't only consider whether he is a liar or not. There are many people who are not liars, who are very good, that we think that they are good in their religion, that people who don't lie, but they are weak in their memory. So we have to consider another thing. Did they memorize? When the Prophet said that the best generation, 3 generations, they are best in the religion. But he didn't say that they can memorize better than the generations that will come later. That's why this rule was not accepted by anybody else, people who came later. Some people use it sometimes, but generally this is the rule of Ibn Khuzaymah and his student and student of students. Other people don't agree with. And we said the hadith is narrated by Abdullah ibn Abdullah ibn Umar or Ubaydullah ibn Abdullah ibn Umar. It's like same hadith, confusing. The Ibn Abdul Bar say this hadith is muttarib matnan wa sanadan, that the chain of narrators of this hadith is muttarib, and the sanad of this hadith is muttarib as well. The text and the chain of narrators. One thing that shows, inshallah, here, one thing we show that this hadith is da'if as well. The Prophet will never say that the water won't become, that the water, if the water is enough to fill 2 pots, it will not carry impurity, but he will never bother to say what kind of pots. These pots that can carry quarter of a liter, and there are pots that can carry 300 liter. So which one he's talking about here? And the other hadith is narrated from Abi Hurairah. Allah Messenger said, none of you should take a bath in stagnant water. Still water that doesn't move. So a river is flowing water, but if you go to a dam, or if you lock the bath, if you plug it and then turn the water on, this is still water. So the Prophet said, none of you should take a bath in stagnant water while he is sexually impure, while he is on state of janaba. He shouldn't take a bath inside. So what he does, he can take shower, but not a bath. Or if he takes a bath, it's with some conditions. And another hadith, it's not the same hadith, it's a different hadith. The Prophet said, none of you should urinate in stagnant water, still water, that is not flowing, then make a bath in it. Why? Yes, some people will do it. No, it's like swimming pool. They say here all the time, when they test the water, they have to change the water all the time, because when they test it, they find out that now this hadith you will probably love more later when you understand about the and then there is another hadith. A man who accompanied the Prophet narrated, Allah Messenger forbade a woman from bathing from the water left over by a man. The Messenger forbade a woman from bathing from the water left over by a man, and a man from bathing with the water left over by a woman. Instead, they should both scoop up handfuls of the water together. This hadith is narrated by Abu Dawud and the Nasa'i, and Ibn Hajar say it's authentic, that he doesn't know any mistake in this hadith. Bukhari said this hadith is mawquf, is the narration of the Sahabi, not of the Prophet, and he considered this hadith to be a mistake, and that is the right thing to say. This hadith is not sahih. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet used to bath with water left over by Maymuna. Ibn Abbas said that the Prophet used to take shower with water left by Maymuna. She used to take shower, and then the Prophet come and take shower after her with the water left water. And Bukhari and Abu Dawud and Tirmidhi and Nasa'i and Ibn Majah narrated that one of the wives of the Prophet took a bath from a vessel, from an instrument. Then the Prophet came, and when he wanted to take a bath from that vessel, she said to him, I was sexually impure. He said, water does not become sexually impure. This hadith is narrated by Tirmidhi and Ibn Khuzaymah, and Tirmidhi considered it to be sahih, but it isn't as well. Narrated Abu Huraira, Allah Messenger said, the purification of the utensil, a pot, belonging to one of you, if it has been licked by a dog, not licked by a dog, it has been licked by if it has been licked in by the dog, so it can be licked directly. He can put his tongue in the vessel itself, or probably on the food that is in the food. But the translation here, it says this. So the purification of the utensil belonging to one of you, if it has been licked in by a dog, is to wash it 7 times using surface soil for the first cleaning. This hadith is narrated by Muslim and Bukhari. It says here Muslim. I don't know why, but the hadith is narrated by Bukhari and Muslim, and in one narration in Muslim, Muslim added something on this hadith. This hadith is narrated by 2 Sahaba, Abu Huraira and Abdullah bin Mughaffal. From Abdullah bin Mughaffal there is one chain of narrators. From Abu Huraira there is 10 different tabi'in who narrated this hadith. Amongst them are some very famous people: Muhammad bin Sirin, Al-A'raj, Hammam bin Munabbih. And this hadith, he said here, he should pour out the contents. In one narration in Muslim, he said, before he said he should clean it, he said he must pour out the contents. I mean, first pour the contents of the pot and then clean it 7 times. This, he must pour it, is the narration of one. You see, Abu Huraira narrated it, 10 people narrated it from Abu Huraira. And from these 10 people, 9 people never mentioned this. 8 people never mentioned this. 2 people narrated this hadith, and from these 2 people, 1 man narrated it, and from this man, many people narrated this hadith. Only 1 person said he must pour it. So 9 people didn't say it at all, and 1 person, the sub-narrators had different opinion, said it exactly the way the 9 others said it, except 1 person, Ali ibn Mushar, from Al-A'mash, from Abi Razin and Abi Salih, from Abi Huraira, that he said he must pour the content and then clean it. So this addition here should be considered to be as shadh. Shadh is one.
Is that addition?
When someone opposes.
The one who's more thicker than
When someone opposes the majority, one person opposes the majority, that is shadh. Or add something.
addition.
Yes, that is called shadh. That is provided that A'mash says, I heard this hadith, because A'mash himself is a mudallis. We go back now to the hadith. We stop here with this hadith. This is about the water. When it comes to water, there is in Sharia the water when you go to pray. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق. If you stand up for prayer, then if you stand up in prayer, then wash your hands to the elbow, your faces and your hands to the elbow. Wipe on your head and wash your feet. If you are junub, when kuntum junuban fattaharu. If you are in state of janaba, sexual impurity, then do tahara. Cleanse yourselves. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهَّرْ. Purify your clothes. Now, this tahara, purify your clothes. How? With what? The Prophet said, وَجُعِلَتْ لِلْأَرْضُ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا. That the land has been made for me a mosque and tahur, purifying thing. إذا نحن لم نجد الماء, when we don't find water. So when there is no water, it's the earth. But if there is water, nothing else. You can't use. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً فَتَيَمَّمُوا. If you don't find water, then do tayammum. So which water is acceptable to take bath with, to do wudu with, to clean your clothes with? Which water is acceptable? The people of fiqh knowledge, they have divided the water into different categories. Now the first kind of water is water ma' mutlaq. We call it ma' mutlaq. It means water. Water without any condition. They call it al-ma'ul mutlaq. I don't know how to translate the word mutlaq. Absolute.
Complete water.
Absolute water. Absolute or plain water. Absolute water. Now, the water that is you find in the street when there is rain, it may look not really, it may have some dirt in it, but when you refer to it, what do you say? You say water. You don't call it in any other name. So this is absolute water. It has no, it's water. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً. If you don't find water, so if you go in the street and there is water and someone tells you, you can't take wash with this, it is water. So this is ma' mutlaq. It has not been changed by anything. Dirt is not considered to be something. No, it's not something to be considered. We don't say that water has been changed. Water is always in dirt. It's on the land, in the earth. That's where it comes from. So that is called water. The seawater, even though it's salted, when we refer to it, we say water. People normally don't say seawater. If I tell someone, oh, go get me some water, and he goes to the sea and get me some water, this is water. He didn't. So that is what we call the absolute water. And almost all the Muslims, and probably today, we don't know anyone having a different opinion, that this water is pure and is considered to be purifying. People today, we don't know anyone having different opinion amongst the Muslim. However, amongst the Sahaba there was some different opinions. Some Sahaba did not consider the seawater to be purifying, but that is almost probably doesn't exist today. Today people agree that the water of the sea is purifying, and they use it for wudu, they use it to drink, and so that is not something that there is different opinion about it. If someone think that is wrong, then we should discuss it. However, it's pretty clear that water is good to do wudu with, is good to drink, as long it doesn't hurt you. You don't drink excessively with salt. Of course, that will hurt a person, kill him or.
Yes, ma mutlaq means complete water, like only water.
No, that is ma mutlaq mean absolute water.
Nothing else.
Something that you can call water, or absolute. Nothing else. Water with salt is still water. Water that you don't put salt in, the water of the sea, people call it water.
It's naturally formed water.
But is it? But clean it.
Huh?
If you drink water.
We are not talking about. We said people call it water. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you don't find water, you see, if you hear the news and you hear someone saying, a man has drowned today in the sea, he was in the water for about, you don't say, oh, he's saying wrong, yeah? But if someone fall into a container of Coca-Cola and he says, and someone refers to him and he say, oh, this person today has fallen into water, you say, no, that's wrong, he fall into Coca-Cola. Yes? And Coca-Cola is just water with some sugar, but the name has changed, but the sea water is called water. You understand? Yeah. Now the second kind of water, when they divide the water, we say the absolute water, and then the water that has been mixed with something that is pure. Water that has been mixed with something that is pure, like sugar,
Soap.
yeah, like sugar, like soap, as long as the color, taste and smell doesn't change. Sometimes when you are taking a bath, you put soap on your body, and then it goes, you can see it in the water, but not really clearly. It's still called you can still call this what is in the bath water. So it has not changed to a point where the name of water is gone. Understand this?
But the color is fading.
Huh?
The color is fading.
Yeah, what do you call it then? What's the name of it?
Soapy water.
Still water.
Still call it water.
So if I choose to call it.
It's not pure water.
No, it's not about you. It's not about you. You want to call it. Huh? It's not about. It's what people with common sense will call it. It's not what you choose.
It's what's in the oil.
It's what people know it. How people know it. It's not today I want to call it this. People normally call it water, and this is what you call it as well. Yes.
Yeah.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you don't find water, but in this case you find water, so you have to take a bath with it. If you need to take a bath, if you have to take a bath, you can't go and say, oh, I can't find water. This water there is some soap in it. It's not clear. You can't see it.
So why do people name it absolute water?
Well,
Why did they say water?
that first one was absolute water.
Yeah, and now you said mixing water.
Mixing water, but not to the point where it has changed.
So the beginning one, absolute water.
Yeah.
Why did they say absolute water? Why didn't they say water? Because absolute water.
They don't say
absolute.
they don't say absolute water. They say water. I gave it the name to explain. Absolute water is the water that has not been mixed with anything. That is absolute water.
General.
That is the general water. You understand it? Okay. The other one, the second one, is the water that has been mixed with something that is pure, but has not the color, the smell, the taste has not changed. We have hadith from the Prophet in Bukhari that when his daughter died, he told them to clean her with water and sidr. Sidr is kind of leaves.
Lotus.
Yeah, it has good smell. No matter how much you put in the water, the smell will not change to a point there where the water will be called something else. It won't become perfume. It's still water. You just give it better smell. And then he ordered the woman to put some leaves, cedar leaves, in the water, and kafur. Kafur is something that is yellow, round. It's like small balls. You can find them they put them in mosques in the toilet. Just the cockroach can't smell it. The cockroach will keep away. So the Prophet ordered them to put this in the water to clean his daughter with, to give her a bath with. So this water is still water, absolute water. It is still water that is purifying, because they are purifying the girl with it. And there is no different opinion about this as well. We don't know of any different opinions because of the dalil, of course. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you don't find water, and this is water, so you don't have to go to something else. You can't go to something else as long as this water exists. Now the water that has been mixed with something pure, but it has changed, the color has changed. You take water, you put sugar in it, and then it becomes juice. If you put a lot of
syrup.
it becomes syrup. Yeah. So this water,
the sugar cane,
if you put water, you put in it, you throw in it a bag of coffee, you put in it tea bag, you put in it sugar, and then it changed to a point nobody will call it. You call it tea. You don't call it water. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً فَتَيَمَّمُوا. If you don't find water, do tayammum. In this case, you didn't find water. The only thing that you have is water that has been tainted with sugar or with coffee, and the color has changed in case of coffee, or the taste has changed in case of the sugar thing, becomes syrup, then this is not water. So if the only thing you can find is that, then you have to go to tayammum, and it's haram to use it.
See, you said if the water is something pure is put into the water, as long as it doesn't change colour, it's water.
Yes.
Yeah? So if a little bit of soap goes in there, it's still water.
Yes.
Yeah? But for instance, just an example, like a washing machine water.
Yeah.
It's totally soap.
Yeah.
Would that be different?
That is not water anymore.
The taste would be soapy. The taste has changed.
Okay, and this sugar water now you're saying, if you put too much sugar in it, it will become sweet, it will become syrup.
Yeah.
But if it's only a little bit of sugar, it's still water.
Yeah.
The sifa hasn't changed, as long as the one of the three characteristics hasn't changed.
In this, the four madahib, Malik, Shafi'i, Ahmad, and the Zahiris, say this water that has changed completely, that has lost its name because of the change in the color or taste or smell, they say these you can't use it for wudu or for shower, if for anything that is an obligation. You can't use it to clean your clothes, you can't use it to take a bath, you can't use it to do wudu, except Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa say you can. Before you do tayammum, you can use the syrup. And his proof is a hadith that it is narrated by Ibn Mas'ud. This hadith is weak, unanimously amongst the muhaddithin, that the Prophet at the night of the jinn, the spirits, the Prophet met the jinn and he read Quran to them. So the Prophet met the jinn and read Quran for that night. Ibn Mas'ud says that night he was with him, according to this weak hadith, that he was with him, and then the Prophet asked him, do you have any water? He said, I don't have except nabid. Nabid is, the Arabs didn't have these juices that we have today, so what they do is they have water and they put in it dates or raisin or grapes, and it makes the taste sweet. So he told him that I don't have anything except some nabid, dates into water. And then he said, tamaratun tayyiba wa ma'un tahur. That report, supposedly the hadith, which is weak, the Prophet didn't say it, but according to this weak hadith, the Prophet said that it's pure.
The dates are pure.
Dates are pure. Tamra is not date. Thamara is fruit. Pure fruit and clean water, purifying water. But this hadith is da'if, and this is what Abu Hanifa has taken. That's why the Ahnaf say, in case there is no water, anything else that is pure can do. Like if you have a bottle of Coca-Cola and there is no water, you do wudu with it. And that is clearly wrong, because the hadith is not sahih. And in the other hand, it's not water. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us to use water. Then the third is water that has been mixed with impure things. Here where there is a lot of different opinions, lot of different opinions. Now, amongst one madhab, sometimes you find 2-3 different saying. However, generally saying, we will try to strike the most famous amongst the madhab, the most famous saying amongst the madhab, about each madhab. So, the Zahiris and the Malikis. The Zahiris and Malik say, if dirt falls into water, as long, first, the Zahiris, Malikis, Hanbalis, Shafi'is and Hanafis agree about one thing. If dirt has fallen into water and that water has changed, whether its smell, color or taste, then that water is haram to be used and it's dirty. You have to keep away from it. It has changed, it's not water anymore, and it has been changed with something that is dirty, so it's dirty. Because what you are seeing there now, if you have a little of water and you pour urine in it, that's what's happening here. It's the urine that is inside. The water has disappeared, dissolved into that urine, and so it just maybe changed a little bit of, but it's still the haram that you can see there. The haram thing that you have put inside, that is what you can see there, so you can't use it. You have to keep away from it. It's najis. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us to keep away from impure things. But when the water doesn't change, now Malik and the Zahiris say if something, if najasa, if a dirt
Impure.
falls, impure things fall into water, then as long as the taste and the color and the smell has not changed, this water is fine, it can be used. And the argument is because some people say, how? Dirt has fallen into water, so this water became dirty. Impure things has fallen into water, so this water became impure. So their argument here, if you put it this way, dirt mixed with the clean things, so the clean thing had become impure. They say, well, we pour water into dirty things and water is clean, why don't you say that this dirty thing became pure now? If dirt mixing with pure things make the pure things dirty, yeah, that's mean pure things mixed with dirty things will make the dirty things pure. It has to work two sides or not. Shafi'i said no. Shafi'i's opinion is the water, if dirt falls into water, then as long as the water is not 500 ritl, 500 ritl mean about 300 kilo.
Yeah, it's like more than 160 liters, big amount.
Yeah, it's about
Iraqi
yeah,
coffee cups.
yeah, the half of 130 300 liters. It's as long as the water is not 150 liters. What happens? This water will become dirty. What Shafi'i says, 150 liters, you put 1 drop of urine inside, and this water is dirty.
151.
But if you have 151 liters, and then you pour 1 full bottle of urine inside, this water is clean. Based on what? Based on this hadith that when the water reaches 2 pots, it doesn't take dirt. This hadith is da'if.
Hadith of Qudatayn.
Yes. This hadith is da'if first. Secondly, the Prophet never said how big is the pots. He just estimated it. As for Abu Hanifa say, if dirt falls into water, then that water is dirty. If the water is little, if it's too much water, but what is too much? Yeah, this is what is too much for Abu Hanifa. He say it's too much if the water that you have, when you move your hand here, when you move the water in this side, in one side, the other side doesn't move. You understand? If you are in the sea and you move the side, like for example, if you are in the UK, and then you go to Portsmouth and you move the side of the sea across in this side of the channel, the other side in France doesn't move, so this water is pure. If something happen, if you drop something inside, you understand? He say as long as the water, if you are in a swimming pool, this big swimming pool, if you move your hand here, does it move from the other side? It won't move from the other side, so this water will be still okay. But he didn't say how to move it, with what. to move it with by throwing the car inside, for example, with your hand, a hand of someone athletic, or a hand of a baby, or a hand of an old man weak. So really it's confusing here. It's not practical, of course. It's enough that it's not in the Quran and Sunnah. It's enough that is an opinion. It's either all the water, if something falls into the water, it's dirty, or it's not. Doesn't matter how much the water is. Their dalil for that is, of course, this hadith. They use this hadith as proof. They say, the Prophet said, none of you should urinate in stagnant water, in still water that is not flowing, then take a bath in it. Here, when we come here, then we have to say what the Tahiri say about this hadith. And and no, it's not that. Let's go for Shafi'i. Shafi'i said, if there is no enough water to fill 2 pots, it carries no impurity. The water will not carry impurity. If there is water enough to fill 2 pots. Meaning, if the water is not enough to fill 2 pots, it will carry impurity. This is what we call mafhum al-mukhalafa, the understanding of the opposite. This is what we call the understanding of the opposite. The understanding of the opposite is totally the opposite of qiyas. Yes. The meaning, if the water is enough to fill 2 pots, it won't carry impurity. What do you understand from this? If the water is not enough to fill 2 pots, it will carry impurity. We don't understand Sharia this way. This is the madhab of the Hanbalis, Shafi'is and Malikis. The Malikis use this rule. They say, if the Prophet mentions something, give a rule to something he mentioned, then the thing that he didn't mention should be the opposite. Alhamdulillah. I give you an example here. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تُكْرِهُ فَتَيَاتِكُمْ عَلَى الْبِغَاءِ إِنْ أَرَدْنَا تَحَصُّنًا لِتَبْتَغُوا عَرَضَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Don't force your slave girls into prostitution if they want to be chaste. If they want to be chaste, pure, if they don't want to commit adultery, then don't force them into prostitution. Mafhum al-mukhalafa, the understanding of the opposite will say, if they don't want that, then force them. You see, if the water is enough to fill 2 pots, it won't carry dirt. Meaning, if the water is not enough to fill 2 pots, it will carry dirt. Don't force your slave girls into prostitution if they want to be chaste. Meaning, force them into prostitution if you don't want to be chaste. This is the rule. This rule is not accepted by the Zahiris and the Ahnaf. However, the Malikis, Shafi'is and Hanbalis, they take it. But then they don't take it all the time. They take it sometime. I'll give you another example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ خَشْيَةَ إِمْلَاقٍ. Don't kill your children out of fear that they may, that you will out of hunger, fear of hunger. Huh?
Hunger, yeah.
Meaning, kill them for other reasons. No, this is a rule. Huh? If you take it always. If you don't take it at all. Inshallah, there will be a special lesson about this after qiyas, because this is the opposite of qiyas. Huh? It's either you do qiyas or you do this. Understand? And the problem is with the people who do qiyas and take this and qiyas as well. So they take qiyas when they want and take this when they want.
What's the name of this Sheikh? Is there a particular name?
مفهوم المخالفة. They call it in Arabic مفهوم المخالفة.
The opposite understanding.
Or they call it دليل الخطاب. Now the hadith, if it was sahih, then
what have you mentioned that the Shafi'i madhab saying if the water less than 150 liters,
yeah,
so it won't hold any dirty water,
yes,
like even drop. And if it's over 150 liters, it will hold
the dirt,
like a bottle.
Yeah.
But they put some restriction, like as long as the water doesn't change.
We say that is agreed by everybody.
Yeah.
If the water changes, everybody agree that you can't use it.
Even the Shafi'i is saying that even the water over 150 liters,
yeah,
and you put some dirty water,
yeah,
but if it's changed the taste,
yes,
or the color, or
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I say that the all madahib, the 5 madahib, 5.
If you include the
Zahiris, with the Zahiris. Yeah. I said we are discussing even this madhab actually now. So I said as the 5 madhab here, they say if the water changes, then it's dirty. I said that. So we have mentioned this, that they agree if the water has changed through anything dirty, the water will not be valid. This is even if it's drop. When the water has changed, when the state of the water has changed, the color, or this is all, we don't know different opinions about this. That includes Shafi'i, Malik, Abu Hanifa. But when it's less than 150 liter for Shafi'i, less than, we don't know how much, but if less than, if you put your hand here, move it here, doesn't move in the other side for Abu Hanifa, then there is the argument here. They argue about it. The argument is about this, not about something different. Now, where were we?
So you were saying Imam Shafi was saying that in the Shafi madhab, he has this saying that if the water doesn't move.
Yeah, no, that is Abu Hanifa saying.
Abu Hanifa. Then you went on to Shafi, who said, okay, he has a rule that if it's kullatain, if one amount goes in.
Mafhum mukhalafa. Yeah. Now, if he says, I give you another example about mafhum mukhalafa. The Prophet, a man, this hadith in Bukhari, a man complained to the Prophet. He said, someone who is in prayer and is not sure he lost his wudu or not.
Okay.
The Prophet said, if someone is in prayer and he doesn't know whether he lost his wudu or not, he shouldn't leave the prayer. He shouldn't leave the prayer. So if someone is in the prayer and he doesn't know whether he has lost his wudu or not, he shouldn't leave the prayer to go and do wudu again and come back. The Malikis here took mafhum al-mukhalafa, the understanding of the opposite. They said if this happens in the prayer and someone has doubt whether he lost wudu or not, then he shouldn't leave the prayer. But if he is out of the prayer, he must go and do wudu. The Shafi'is and the Hanbalis and the Hanaf say no. We don't take the understanding of the opposite here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِن يَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا الظَّنَّ وَإِنَّ الظَّنَّ لَا يَغْنِي مِنَ الْحَقِّ شَيْئًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala criticized people who follow doubt.
But isn't that just taking the hadith itself? Because the Prophet just said in prayer.
Yes, yes. We take that hadith.
Yeah.
But we don't say, we take the hadith the way it is. But we don't say
Build something.
anything that the hadith didn't mention should be opposite of what the...
Oh, they said it like that.
We say what the Prophet didn't mention here, we have to try to look for it for somewhere else. Somewhere else we found that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that that people shouldn't follow doubt. So you are sure that you have wudu. This is sure. Huh? This is what we call yaqeen. Huh? This is, you are certain that you had wudu. This certainty shouldn't go away with doubts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِنَّ الظَّنَّ لَا يُغْنِي مِنَ الْحَقِّ شَيْئًا. The doubt will not change the certainty. So you were certain that you had wudu, you will still have wudu until you are sure. Another certainty comes to nullify the first certainty. You understand? Same thing we have to use with the water here. Well, if the Prophet said, if 2 pots of water, if the water reaches 2 pots, it won't carry dirt, we don't say the opposite should be with less than 2 pots. We say no. Less than 2 pots, here the hadith mentioned 2 pots and more. Less than 2 pots, we have to find out. To find out somewhere else. And then we go somewhere else, we find the ayah says, وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً طَهُورًا. We have sent down from the sky purifying water.
That's it.
So, didn't say 1 liter or 100 liters, all the water is purifying. So, we take this ayah as general. Understand it this way, or agree, or in a discussion? So we go to Zahiris now, what they said about this hadith. The hadith which says, none of you should urinate in stagnant water, still water, that is not flowing, then take a bath in it. Of course, you know what Zahiris are. Zahiris are the people who follow Quran, who say, we follow Quran and Sunnah only, literally. Literally means this. They say that no one should urinate in the water. The hadith say no one should urinate in the water and then take a bath in it. They say if someone else urinate in the water,
It's okay.
then you can't take a bath in it. They say if anything else, any dirt has fallen in the water, then you still can take a bath in it, as long as the color, smell, or has not changed. And this is one of the things that Ibn Hazm went further to say, if someone urinate, and this is one of the big famous Zahiris, he said if someone urinate in a pot and throw it in the water, then he can take a bath in it.
Is that because he's taking it literally?
Yes.
Is this the manhaj where, or madahib where, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you can't even say uff to your parents?
Yeah.
They say, well, Allah says you don't even say uff to your parents so you can hit them.
Yes, this is exactly the same people who say that.
Was Imam Ibn Hazm, was he pure Zahiri or a limited Zahiri, if you know what I mean?
No, he was pure Zahiri.
He was pure.
He was just following Quran and Sunnah.
But
Huh?
Same madhab.
Yeah?
The same madhab.
This is the same madhab. These people say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not like any one of us. These people, Ibn Hazm and so, they say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not like any one of us. We are human. Sometimes we don't know how to talk. Sometimes we say things, but we can't find the best word to express ourselves. They say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not like any one of us. He is the one who created the language. So if He wants something, He will definitely know how to say it. They say if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you not to hit your parents, He will tell you don't hit your parents. He will not tell you don't say off. And when they say you can hit your parents, no one has said you can hit your parents. They say like this. They say if Allah has said in Quran don't say off only, then we will say off. But then it means we can hit them.
Because Allah hasn't prohibited that. That's what they're saying.
Yeah?
It's not.
They say, but we don't hit our parents. They say that they shouldn't hit their parents. They say we don't hit our parents because Allah said, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Be nice to your parents. He said before Allah said don't say off, He first mentioned that you have to be good to your parents to the point that off you shouldn't say it. So, and this madhab, this understanding is the understanding of the Prophet. I was going to leave this for the qiyas next week. Since you brought it up, just we go quickly through it, because this has to do the same thing with that. This madhab here is the madhab of the Prophet. This is how the Prophet understood religion. He was just taking the words of Allah literally. This is how the Sahaba were. Some Sahaba, yes, sometimes they don't take the words literally.
Yeah, they ask.
No, sometimes they do their own ijtihad. And many people who don't agree with this understanding, they bring you a hadith, for example, hadith which is in Bukhari, that the Prophet, the day of Bani Qurayza, he told the Sahaba, no one should pray Asr except in Bani Qurayza. They say, some Sahaba said he didn't mean it. And then they prayed before they reached Bani Qurayza, in time. He said, he just meant, go quickly. The other people said no. Said don't pray except in Bani Qurayza. We are not going to pray except in Bani Qurayza. According to the narrator Ibn Umar, he said the Prophet didn't say anything about it. He didn't blame any of the two parties. The problem here, the people who criticize, the people who take the words of the Prophet literally, use this hadith. Yeah. And this hadith says that the Prophet didn't blame them. So why do you blame them? But the truth is, we blame them. I take the words of the Prophet literally, and I blame the other side, who don't take the words of the Prophet literally. I say this hadith, there is nothing to suggest, to say, that the Prophet has known about the people who prayed before its time. There is nothing in the hadith to say that the Prophet heard about it and then he didn't say anything. This is one thing. The other thing, you might find many hadith where the Sahaba didn't follow the words of the Prophet literally. And the Prophet didn't punish them. Didn't punish them doesn't mean that he agrees with them. The Prophet was not harsh. But he will tell them, but you won't find a hadith where a Sahabi didn't took the words of the Prophet literally and the Prophet agreed with it. But there is so many hadith where the Sahaba took the words of the Prophet literally and he was okay with it. He agreed with it, he accepted it. You see, the Prophet called Ali ibn Abi Talib and sent him to Khaybar. He told him, go He told him, go. And don't turn your head, don't turn back. Go and don't turn back.
Oh, yeah.
Until you come to Khaybar. Ali ibn Abi Talib started riding, moved for a while. And then he remembered something. He never asked the Prophet what he should do, why he should fight. So he said, oh Prophet, why should I fight them? He didn't turn his head. The Prophet said, go and don't turn your head until you get there. Huh? The Prophet never told him, oh, are you stupid? I didn't mean it. Huh? He didn't say that. He told him, go and fight them until they become like us.
He was going jihad.
Yes.
You can't establish a madhab according to this hadith.
Did I finish? You see me talking, you don't know I started. Let me finish.
Take your time.
Okay. Now, the Prophet didn't say anything to Ali ibn Abi Talib when he took his words literally. The Prophet, another hadith in Bukhari, a Sahabi, Sa'id ibn Ya'la, was praying, and the Prophet called him. He was praying. The Prophet called him. He didn't go to him. When he finished the prayer, the Prophet said, why didn't you come to me when I called you? He said, I was praying. The Prophet said, don't you know that Allah said, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu stajibu lillahi wal rasuli idha da'akum lima yuhyikum? The man said, I was praying. I couldn't answer. I didn't think that I thought you didn't mean it. I thought you meant something else. He said, don't you know that Allah said, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu stajibu lillahi wal rasul? O you who believe, answer the Prophet, answer Allah and the Prophet when he calls you. So here, he criticized him for not taking his words literally. And yes.
Was he angry?
No, the Prophet is not angry at all. He doesn't get angry. But he criticized him. He said, why don't you? No? What do you want more than him? You want him to kill him first? That's to... Yeah.
Okay, what about that hadith about when the black robe and the white robe don't pray?
Oh, the thread.
Yeah.
The thread.
It was not revealed yet. I am going to throw all of this, inshallah.
Okay.
It was at the beginning it was not revealed anyway. And I will ask the brother here, if, you see, because this, everybody, if you tell someone, don't say off. If you say someone, don't say off, he will understand that don't beat. Yeah? If off, you don't say off, that means don't beat them. Okay. I give you this question. If you ask me, if you tell me, give me something, and then I tell you, no, I'm not going to give you anything. You can tell me, give me £1. I say, no, I'm not going to give you £1. And then you start asking me. You start, time after time. I say, wallahi, if you ask me for a year, I'm not going to give it to you. And then you tell me, okay, I'm going to ask for a year and 1 day. You consider this to be stupid, no? Yeah?
Yeah.
This is what the Zahiris do. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I hope that you don't consider this to be wrong. Or you consider it to be wrong.
Yeah, I consider it wrong.
Yeah. So these people...
Short view.
Short view. Okay, let's see who has here short view and who has not. Jazakallah khair.
I want to ask you a question.
Let me just give you an answer. Huh?
I didn't speak.
Yeah, you said now short view.
Yes.
Let me see the Prophet, how the Prophet understand. Let me give you an example from the Prophet. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Quran, استغفر لهم أو عليكم السلام عليكم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Quran, استغفر لهم أو لا تستغفر لهم. Ask for forgiveness for them, or don't ask for forgiveness for them, for the kafirs. إن تستغفر لهم 70 مرة. If you ask for forgiveness 70 times, فلن يغفر الله لهم. Allah will not forgive them. The brother will understand that there is no difference between 70 or 100. It's just a way of talking.
Ibadah.
That is, we talk that way, not Allah. Why? Because the one who understands Quran better than us all, the Prophet, when Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, the hypocrites, died, the Prophet stood up and wanted to pray. Umar ibn Khattab told him, didn't Allah forbid you from praying? This is what the understanding of Umar ibn Khattab. Way above the brother understand that 70 times or 100 times is the same. But we don't take our religion from Umar, we take it from the Prophet. And definitely Umar ibn Khattab, when he contradicts the Prophet, is wrong. The Prophet said, Allah has given me choice. So he didn't understand what's the difference between this is. He understood from it that this is choice. 70, he will not forgive. More than 70? Maybe. And that's why he stood up and prayed more than 70. It's hadith in Bukhari. And he said, the Prophet said, Allah has given me choice and they have chosen. This is someone we say, don't say off, means don't say off. Only. Anything else, do it. Unless Allah say don't do it. When Allah say, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, then وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Not taking the words literally, mean taking other meanings. Other meanings that are not in the words, in the actual words, can be anything. You will say one thing, I will say another thing. Yes.
لكن الله عاتبه على هذه الصلاة بقوله ولا تصلي على أحد منهم.
نعم, and the brother he's saying here, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala later on told the Prophet don't pray. ما عاتبه. He said that Allah blamed him. Didn't blame him. He said just no. He says the brother say that after the Prophet has done what he has done, another ayah was revealed. Another ayah was revealed to say, don't pray. Yeah? Don't pray over them. This is after the Prophet have prayed over those people. Yeah? Allah told the Prophet, don't pray. First, when he gave him a choice only, he prayed. Yes. And then he told him not to pray again. And he stopped praying. And that is exactly what we do. There and everywhere. When Allah gives us choice, we will follow the choice. And then after he tells us to stop, we will stop. Not before. Not عمر كان صحيح. لا, كان عمر خطأ. كان رسول الله صحيح. عمر بن الخطاب كان خطأ. وعمر بن الخطاب رجع. The Prophet here, he said the Prophet contradicted Umar. And he said Umar was right. You see, جاء بعد ذلك. Only the Prophet stopped. Umar said something, the Prophet didn't accept it. We follow the Prophet. We don't follow Umar. Yeah. Umar had a different opinion from the Prophet. When there is two different opinions in the religion, one is right, one is wrong. It can't be right to both of them. Yeah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said,
we don't know which right.
A'udhu billah, the Prophet doing something we don't know.
In this situation.
Yeah. In this situation we know that the Prophet was right and Umar was wrong.
What can you understand from the word salah?
Salah?
Yeah.
Prayer.
Only prayer?
Dua.
Okay, when Allah say perform salah,
yeah.
What can you understand from this two words?
Do prayer.
Why now you can only prayer, not, for example, tasbih, for example. Why you don't understand as a tasbih?
We don't understand. The Prophet said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, pray.
Yeah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, pray. And then the Prophet said, pray the way you see me praying. So we should pray the way we saw him praying, except where that prayer is not meant. You see when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima, and the Prophet is not here. How are you getting? The Prophet, for example, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. O you who believe, perform prayer over him. So here the Prophet explained. قالوا يا رسول الله قد علمنا التسليم عليك. We know how to say salam to you. How are we going to perform prayer on you? He said, قولوا اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. He explained it. So this is the prayer of the Prophet. The other prayer, where Allah say, أقيموا الصلاة, we do the prayer the way the Prophet said, because he said, صلوا كما رأيتموني أصلي. Pray the way you see me praying. So everything,
There's no contradiction.
everything has one saying and one understanding. Until we have the lead. وإياك.
Sure. I think what the brother was trying to say is that many verses came to support the sayings of Umar.
Yes, I understand. But until we know that until the ayah came to support what Umar ibn Khattab has said, he was wrong. Until, because you see, we have two different opinions, and one say it's right, one says wrong. They can't be both right. One is right, one is wrong. So who do you choose here to say he's right? Jazakallah khair. So the Prophet was right here, and this is what we should do. And the Prophet didn't stop. You see, Umar ibn Khattab is a knowledgeable man, very knowledgeable man. Who is more knowledgeable than him? The Prophet. He said, Wallahi inni a'lamukum billah. I understand better what Allah wants. So he understood what Allah wanted. And when Allah made it haram, it became
Different
haram.
hukum then.
Yes,
Different
yes.
hukum then.
But as long as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, give us choice, we take that choice. And we don't say, oh, he didn't mean it. How do you know? How do you know? Anyone who says that we shouldn't, anyone who said that we shouldn't take the words literally, you know what you tell him? Tell him, okay, I am taking your advice, and therefore I think that you are saying that we should take the words literally, because you don't mean what you are saying. If someone says, we say something but the meaning is something different, tell him, okay, that's what you are saying then, and I understand that something different, because I don't take your words literally. This is what you believe. You believe that words, you believe that you say something and you mean something else. So this is the way I'm taking it from you.
So yes, just to give clarity to the brothers,
Yeah.
the position of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah is that
The position of the Muslims.
the position of the agreement of the Muslims
Yeah.
who follow the book and the Sunnah in the correct way,
Yeah.
not any one of innovation. Talking about the correct way.
Inshallah, next week.
Barakallah.
الله أكبر الله أكبر